Thank you. Please, you're too kind. What an ovation. How do you do? Nice to see you. Thank you. I was not a brilliant single. I'm probably better off as a husband. Although I'm only married 2 years, my wife and I are still making adjustments to matrimony. My wife had the nerve a little while back to accuse me of being a sexist pig, which for a Jewish person such as myself is a double insult. A sexist pig, she called me, simply because I came home one night and I said, "Fire up some food, wench. Daddy's hungry." This she considered sexist. So now my wife insists that if she does the cooking, I must do the food shopping. I have no idea what to buy, so she writes lists. I buy what's on the list, some of which occasionally strikes me as strange. Evaporated milk. I couldn't believe this. Milk that is evaporated. If there's one quality I insist on in anything I buy, it is visibility. I think you'll agree with. Without visibility, you cannot check quality. I wouldn't buy evaporated water. This is humidity. I wouldn't spend a nickel on humidity. I'm not going to plunk down money on milk that has disappeared. Suppose I bring this milk home, I put it down, and I forget where I put it. It'll eventually transform into like an invisible cheese, yes? And there'll be an invisible stench that'll begin diffusing. Neighbors will say, "Why don't you get rid of it?" I'd say, "I'd like to, but I can't find it. It's evaporated." She has me buy shrimp balls a little while back. For dinner, shrimp balls. And if there's any part of the shrimp that I don't want to munch on, I have a vision of a shrimp swimming up the river going, while I'm munching on a sensitive part of his anatomy. Give me his pancreas or his spleen, but let him swim in dignity. The doctor told me that I should elevate the fiber content in my diet, and specifically, he suggested that I begin eating this new cereal called Fiber One. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this rather powerful piece of breakfast fare, this grim reaper of morning chow, this nuclear laxative in a box, but this stuff is unbelievably fiber-rich. It has 6 times more fiber than grape nuts and 3 times more fiber than raw twine, to give you an idea of the incredible fiber concentration. This stuff is unbelievable. It is one thing to be regular, ladies and gentlemen. It is another to be unstoppable. It's not as though I have nothing to do with my day. There should be a Surgeon General's warning on the box: don't eat unless retired. There's no way to remain a productive citizen of society. And there should be a picture of Tony the Tiger squatting. Several months ago, in fact, on Thanksgiving Thursday, my wife and I had a little baby boy, our first. We're very excited, thank you. I've never been happier. Everything has gone terrific. In fact, while my wife was pregnant, she told me she couldn't feel the baby kick, but she could feel its eyes bulge. So we're reasonably certain it is mine, which makes it all the more joyous an experience. We delivered on Thanksgiving Thursday via the Lamaze method. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is a reasonably new procedure whereby the husband is forced to be there so that he could witness this incredibly excruciating experience for the woman. Suddenly it's a spectator sport, a brilliant concept in childbirth. I did not want to be there because this is remarkably painful for the woman, and there was nothing my presence could do to relieve this pain, and so I didn't see why my evening should be ruined too. I could have been bowling and having fun. It was Thanksgiving and the lanes were unbelievably empty. I could have bowled game after game. Last week, for the first time, my son said "dada," which might have been more exciting had he not been pointing at the toilet when he said this, but ever since Fiber One, I could certainly understand his confusion, and as much as I spend the vast majority of my waking hours attached, how would he know we're not separate entities? My wife sailed through childbirth brilliantly. I have newfound respect for the burden that you women bear during childbirth. Were men capable of giving birth, I would not be a good candidate for this kind of pain. I do not deal with pain. I don't understand people who say there's a fine line between pain and pleasure. Have you heard this? This is sickness. I don't know what they're talking about. If I were to bang my thumb with a hammer, I would not get confused, I don't think. I could not imagine saying this was incredibly excruciating, but so close to being remarkably stimulating. What a fine line. Maybe I could pierce my ears with a javelin and see if I enjoyed that. There's such a fine line.